1, 2, 3, 4.
I grew up in an arch conservative town. I thought I was the only one. And then, I learned to trust Joe Strummer more than Tom Brokaw.
I'm a one man, I'm a one man, I'm a one man revolution. I'm a one man, I'm a one man, I'm a one man revolution.
Did the Clash have an impact? Well, they did on me. They changed my life. And Public Enemy, when I first got the inclination to stand alone on stage and sing songs, it was on the Bruce Springsteen Ghost of Tom Joad tour. I was kind of overwhelmed with just how heavy and impactful that kind of show could be. Felt to me like whoever wrote that was from where I was from. I come from stock that's not afraid to speak their mind, whether it's my mom, who for 12 years ran an organization called Parents for Rock and Rap, the anti-PMRC, or from my father's side of the family. My great uncle was Jomo Kenyatta, Kenya's first president. I discovered Woody Guthrie very late, though. I discovered him first through that Springsteen show in '96, and then through the early Dylan records and the Nebraska record, and then reading. Originally, it was like a balance to my arena rock. I'd come off these Audioslave tours playing in front of 10,000 people a night, and go play open mic nights around LA and the San Fernando Valley in front of 10 people. Because these songs that I was writing, they mattered to me, and it felt like I was an amateur at it, but it was something that I wanted to cultivate. It grew from there, and Billy Bragg asked me to go out on tour with him and Steve Earle, and then I went from playing in front of 10 people a night to 2,000 people a night. I played for hundreds of union rallies, and there was a big janitor strike in Los Angeles, and a big grocery worker strike. These people didn't know what I did for a living. They didn't care that I was in Rage Against the Machine or Audioslave. They just knew that I was there playing a show for them, and that to me felt probably the kind of activist connection that I was missing in my music. For me, it feels like it's doing music for the right reasons. It's completely outside of the sort of the normal, comfortable parameters of being in a successful rock band. I started writing these songs on a cheap nylon string guitar that my girlfriend let me borrow, that was just sitting around the house, and the songs were kind of written on that. And so when it came time to play shows, I got one a little sturdier. My Rage Against the Machine guitar had Arm the Homeless written on it, and my Audioslave guitar had Soul Power. So I've been a fan of sort of Woody Guthrie scrawling on guitar since day one, and I like the guitar to be a servant of the big picture, whether it's intricate guitar work in Rage Against the Machine, or whether it's sort of more stark and moody backgrounds that I think set the scenes for the lyrical content of the songs. And Joe Hill I consider my favorite guitar player, even though there's no recorded work of him. But sort of the idea that a book or a pamphlet is read once, but a song can be sung over and over again, and using music as a way to unite people of different backgrounds, different ethnicities, people who may not speak the same language, but using music as sort of a glue of solidarity for issues of social justice. Certainly Rage Against the Machine radicalized a lot of youth around the world. It was first and foremost a kick-ass rock and roll band, and then there was an incendiary or a subversive message in the band. Bands, when I think they're best, are democratic, and Rage is very much that way. And I think that sort of the fact how Zach writes the lyrics, I do the guitar part, I think that's something that works and has had a pretty potent chemistry throughout the history of that band. And sometimes it's hard to harness the tumultuous internal relationships in a band to have the most impact as social justice crusaders. In doing the Nightwatchman stuff, it's able both musically and message-wise. Sort of the mission is very, very pure and it's direct, and the band meetings are very easy because I'm the only one that gets to vote. Every note, every chord, and every lyric comes from me, and I've always I've been able to, throughout my entire career, be able to get away with being completely uncompromised and uncompromising what I do. So there's no reason to stop that now. I've sold 30 million records, and they let me do whatever I want. My knowledge of Newport is the grainy black and white Bob Dylan footage. That's sort of my knowledge of this festival, and why I circled this day on my calendar as being one that I'm very, very, very excited to play. I also see a lot of yachts going by. It doesn't feel right, but I understand that sometimes to keep the doors open, you have to usher in. I don't even know, is it the Dunkin' Donuts? I don't even know what it is. I don't like that. I've never, for me, I've chosen never to do any sponsorships, or from guitar strings to tour sponsors or whatever. I've never felt beholden to what anybody else thought about anything, and especially doing this, where I'm the only one in the room with a microphone, and they've already booked the gig. So to me, it feels like there's a great freedom in that, and an ability for artists to move the goalposts. And if you do have convictions, to not be the least bit afraid or unfiltered in expressing them. I mean, that's how the world changes. It changes by people who you often do not read about in history books, taking the wheel of history in their hands and standing up for their rights where they live, and where they work, and where they go to school. And the idea with these shows is in one venue, one afternoon or night at a time, for each 3.5-minute song or each hour-long set to liberate territory and take America back one set at a time. And it's a pleasure to be here in the People's Republic of Newport.
The time is nigh, the day is dark, there's only one solution. I'm a one man, I'm a one man, I'm a one man revolution.
I saw some T-shirt backstage that said, "What would Woody do?"
Yeah.
And I think that's a very interesting thing that artists could ask themselves at different points.
Yeah.
Or donut festivals.